Bob's Breakfast.
Lost and found stories this morning. Vicky.
My story is I lost my sense of humour. However, I did get it back when I got divorced.
Bob FM.
We're talking about the birth of the internet 25 years ago today and modern technology and what you miss about the old days. Pete, you remember those days?
Before technology, you could go and hide when you're out on a shopping trip. You could hide. The missus would be shopping. You just sneak off and sort of go and stand outside Rumbalow's window and watch the football results if they were on.
Yeah. But now you get a text. Where are you? Now she can go on that Find My iPhone and she can find out where you're standing.
Track you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where are you? Come here. I need you to be Gok Wan for 5 minutes and tell me whether I look good in there.
What's your lost and found story? Something or someone you thought that was lost and you got them back. Kelly.
A couple of years ago, I'd gone out for my birthday, came home, woke up in the morning and thought, where's my shoes? Oh, another casualty of a night out. I'd lost my shoes. They were my favourite going out shoes.
Oh, no, but that's what you do. You have to take them off at the end of a night, don't you?
Oh, definitely. You've got to stand there in the kebab shop with your shoes in one hand. And the
So where
kebab
did
in
you
the
leave
other.
them?
Well, I had no idea. I couldn't remember. And I thought, okay, then, they're gone. And then a couple of months later, I got a cab home from town. I think I was on another night out. And I remember the cab driver saying to me, oh, did you lose your shoes? And he was like, I've got them in the boot.
No way. It was
the same
Two pairs
cab.
of shoes.
Wow.
Life before we had all this modern technology. Mark.
Things like mobile phones and FaceTime. Before then, you had a normal phone in the house with a cord on it.
Yeah.
And the two things you used to do is, one, you'd have a money box put inside it where your parents just put the money in to pay the bill.
Yeah.
You used to cheek a little bit out of there. And the other thing was, we used to put a lock on it so you couldn't dial it. Yeah, so what you used to do is, you used to tap the little black bits on top, you used to dial a number out.
That's right, you used to tap numbers out. Yeah, so if you wanted to dial, you know, Penketh 5338, which was our number, you had to tap it 5 times, then a pause, then 3 times, then a pause. Yeah, that's how you did it. Tap numbers out.
Yes, as a kid, it's like being a spy.
Yeah, it did. You would tap numbers out. You tap the hang-up bit. What's that called?
The receiver?
No, what's that bit of the phone, that bit there? What's that called?
Oh, I don't know.
That bit there. That, you tap that out, so if you wanted to dial, you go...
Ah, right.
And it would dial the number.
That is so clever.
That's how you got round it, yeah. Hey, they don't know they're born now, do they, Mark?
Bob's Breakfast.
Talking about things that have been lost and found, I actually had something show up that I'd actually hidden. I met Julie in New Zealand. I was living there. And I met her. I'd already booked a holiday back to Britain because the job I was working on had finished. Julie's dad is a golfer. So he says to me, you're going over to Britain? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, there's a golf club I'd really like if you could pick it up for me. That'd be brilliant. So he said, it's a ping answer 2 putter. I know nothing about golf, but I'll never... Anyway, so I found this golf shop in Warrington.
I suppose you want to impress the new,
of course
new
I do.
girlfriend's dad,
yeah, they
don't
talk
you?
about brownie points. So I'm thinking, if I can come back with this golf club...
You're going to be like the dude.
Of course. So I go into this golf shop I know nothing about, and the salesman says, I want a ping answer 2, made of beryllium copper. Anyway, the bloke said, oh, we don't sell many of them. We haven't got one actually in stock. I said, tell you what we have got. We've just got, this is amazing. This is a Palm Springs putter. And I'm like, right. And then he said, no, this is twice the golf club that the ping thing is. This is the one. This is the hot golf club. In fact, you're lucky I've still got one. And he really starts laying it on thick. Yeah. And then he offers me this amazing discount, and I think, well, this sounds like a great deal. So I buy it and think, this will be even better. I'll take him back an even better one.
Yeah.
So I get this. So I'm on the phone from a phone box, actually, one night.
Old school.
Yeah, and...
Putting in the 20p's.
Pound coins. Yeah, pound coins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was about 20 quid, I think, this phone call.
Wow.
Anyway, so our dad's in the background, he goes, oh, you put him on. So he said, yeah. He says, how'd you go with that golf club? I said, I tell you what, I've really struck gold here. I found a better one. I found this Palm Springs. No, I don't like them.
No, and you'd already bought it.
Yeah, so I didn't tell him I'd already bought it. I said I'd found it. I didn't say I'd already bought it. So what am I going to do now? I don't know. So I was staying with my parents. So I hid it in the loft. I thought, I don't know, I'd just forget about it. Stuck it in the loft. So couple of years later, I've moved to New Zealand and I'm getting married to Julie.
Yeah.
So my parents fly out for the wedding. Actually, the first time, coincidentally, they'd met Julie and her parents is when they flew out for the wedding.
Yeah.
They fly out for the wedding. My old man shows up at Julie's parents' house with this blinking golf club. He goes, "Hey, I heard you're a golfer, so I got you this golf club." And I thought, you lying git, you found that in the loft. How tough life was before the internet, Danny?
When I was 16, which was 25 years ago,
Yeah.
I joined the British Gas as an apprentice.
Yes.
And to find any parts and part numbers, we had a microfiche.
Oh, it looks like a TV monitor, but it was
Two
film.
plates of glass.
Yeah. Yeah, microfiche. We used to use it when I was a pipe fitter in construction. We used to find parts that way as well.
Hang
Yeah.
on, so it looks like a TV?
It looks like it, but it's actually...
Looks like a TV.
It's a
very
projector,
grey.
really. Yeah.
Bit like the old BBC computer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
you type stuff in?
No, you didn't type stuff in. You put
No, there's no keyboard.
you put a thing in it, which was...
Like bit of plastic. It was a blue bit of plastic that had white marks on it.
And it was
You put
microfilm.
underneath it had a magnifying glass.
Yeah, and you turned it and scrolled along all these lists of parts and part numbers. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Wow. God, that must have taken ages.
Well, no, you never found the right part anyway. And they were never in the right order.
But
They
it
were
was-
all just thrown everywhere.
It seems so advanced, though, didn't it? This is microfilm. This is the future.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And it was called the microfiche. Yeah.
Microfiche. I don't know what the plural is, whether they're microfi or microfishes.
Well, they're extinct now, so it doesn't matter, does it?
That's right, yeah, that's back on with the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Danny, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Ram.
It's the brand new Bob FM. We're all having to get used to saying the new name, even out in the office, you know, when salespeople that answer the phone, sometimes, just as a pure reflex action, they've answered the phone using the old name of this radio station. So now, if you do that, no matter where it is in the building, whether you're on the radio or not, there's a £1 fine, and the £1 goes into the charity box. So that, because we've just got to get it out of our system. For all this time, we've been the other name, and now we are Bob FM. Good morning, Emma.
I'm sure I've caught you saying Jack this morning, though.
No, stop it! I only did it once, and it was like half a word. For goodness
You
sake!
did it. You said the whole word.
No, it was a Jack, and then I caught myself. It was not the whole word. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. Put a pound in that.
All right, I'll put a £1 in the charity box. All right, thank you very much, Emma.
Bob's Breakfast.
Yeah, I feel like a fraud this morning.
Well, what's going on?
I've cheated at Twitter.
How do you cheat at Twitter?
Well, what I've been doing since we became Bob FM, anyone that started following us on Twitter, I've started following them.
On Bob?
No, on my, I got my Twitter.
Yeah.
And then there's Bob's Twitter.
Oh, anyone that started following us on Bob, you've taken them?
Yes, I've just followed them.
Right.
And one guy, I don't know, I just go click, 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 all the ones that are following. It's about, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 a day, something like that.
Yeah.
And click, 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 click. I'm not even looking at who they are or anything about them. So this one guy, he tweets me back in English and says, thanks for the follow. Not sure why you're following me. Do you speak Arabic? And so I looked at all his previous tweets, and apart from that one, they're all in Arabic.
Oh, brilliant.
It's Arabic squiggles.
Yeah.
So, here's where I cheated. I went to, that Google Translate?
Yeah.
I went there and I wrote, of course I speak Arabic. Translated it and then cut and pasted the Arabic squiggle into the thing.
Did he reply?
Yeah, but I don't know what he said. Darren's on the phone. Jules, I've no idea what he's going on about. But he really is passionate about... Hang on, let me put him through. Yeah, Darren, so, you were saying?
No, I heard it on the radio and everything.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, right? Yeah, and I got quite a bit of response from that as well.
Yeah, what was it?
People around the town that had heard it.
Yeah.
And Greta at number 50, that is basically been acting as the secretary because she's got all the computer and all the latest gadgets.
Yeah, yeah.
She has actually had a response.
Yeah.
From somebody at the council. She came round and showed me on a Wombat
that's good news.
smartphone, like,
Yeah, that is good news. Yeah.
Yeah, they've actually said They've actually talked about the double glazing and this.
I knew they would, because they had to in the end, didn't they? I mean, you know, because it was quite a campaign, really.
Yeah, but it's taken all this time.
Oh, it's been a long time.
You know, I mean, it's been going for some 5-6 weeks now, you know, and the council have always had no comment. And the Welling Times, wouldn't give us a reason as to why they wouldn't run the story.
Oh wow.
So it was all sort of up in the air for a while. It weren't until taken and all the rubbish that they had collected was thrown out onto the main road. Which was an eyesore, and that was picked up within 24 hours. So.
Oh, was it? Okay, so things are moving along then since you got in touch with Bob. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. Well, I was hoping the same sort of response from Welling Times after they sent a photographer and everything.
Well, you never know with them, though,
But, but as I say, we have had some response. I mean, it's obviously all the responses, will go to Greta, you know, because she's the one doing all the emails and everything.
Well, yeah, because that's important. Word of mouth is one thing, but word of mouse is also important, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, but as for them sending Serco round, to tidy up this street, I mean, that doesn't look like it's going to happen at all. So,
well, thank goodness for Greta and her smartphone.
Yes. Let's hear it for Greta, shall we? Yes, Greta, thanks so much. It's Graham Mack, and I'm a bit freaked out this morning. I checked my Twitter, and there's a message there. Well, to say it's cryptic is probably an understatement. It just says, "Make my day, punk. I'm the good one." And then there's a link to a picture of Clint Eastwood. Now, it's Twitter. You get all kinds of things. And because it didn't make sense, I looked at the picture, you know, the Twitter picture. It looked familiar to me. So I clicked on the guy's profile and then enlarged the picture and then noticed it's a picture of me. Someone has set up a Twitter account as a fake me. So that's a bit freaky, isn't it? The really disappointing thing is, fake me's only got 3 followers. We're looking for your ghost stories this morning. Julia.
In the 1980s, there was an old wives' tale going around where we used to live as children, and my cousin and some of his friends, being quite brave, decided that they'd try and do what this old wives' tale said, and if you ran round a certain gravestone in a certain cemetery in Barnet, something would happen at midnight. So, of course, they did. Off they went, ran round this gravestone 3 times, and on the stroke of midnight, the beep on his digital watch went off, and it absolutely scared the life out of him. So ran.
Where have you been banned from, Jim?
This is a somewhat bizarre story. Years ago, I was a student in Winchester, and I was trying to get some clothes for a graduation ceremony. I went into the Winchester branch of Freeman, Hardy and Willis to buy some shoes, and I made a comment that their shoes were rubbish. And the store manager came up to me and he said, "If you don't like our shoes, we don't want you in our shop." And I laughed at him, and he said, "No, I'm being serious." And he escorted me out of the shop.
Wow.
And I still thought he was joking. I went back the next week, went back in the shop, and he just come up to me, and the only words he said to me was, "I've told you once."
You were banned for life?
You got banned from Freeman, Hardy and Willis. That is tragic.
Thanks for the story, Jim.
Try anything on.
It's breakfast on Bob.
When you've messed up at work, Kelly.
I now work in IT.
Yeah.
And so a long time ago, when I was a newbie, you know the jokes that people play on the newbie.
Yeah.
Oh, tart and pain.
Yeah.
Well, I was sitting at my desk and I got a call, and then somebody kind of calls and then asks, and rings me up and says, "I would like some details on penetration testing." So I kind of just looked at my colleague and just thought, no, I'm not having this. Something's having it on with me. So I kind of looked at my colleague and thought, no, it's not. And I was like, no, sorry, you're having me on. And I wouldn't have it. This person on the phone was like, no, honestly, I would really like some details on if you can offer penetration testing. So anyway, I've hung up on him and thought, no. So the customer phoned back, spoke to one of my colleagues who then has obviously dealt with it in a more professional manner than what I did. It was only after now, years later, I now understand what pen testing is, and it is nothing rude. It is actually a real IT term. So if you can imagine, companies are hired to try and break through firewalls. And
right.
So that's what it is. I thought it was something completely disgusting.
Kelly, that just shows that you have a dirty mind. That's all that does.
Well, that's probably true.
When you've messed up at work, Marilyn.
I was working as a technical advisor with a company, and I had a phone call from a person who really wanted to find some copper alloys, and so I put on a search for him, and I couldn't find exactly what he wanted. And so I was going to wish him success in what he was going to find, because it was obviously important to his business. And instead, I heard myself say, I hope you have sex. To which he replied, thank you, pet.
Maybe a psychologist might say this was Freudian.
Well, because I have a large family, maybe so.
We're looking for Bob's Best. The best of everything, the category at the moment, Bob's Best Pub. Stop the show! Cosmic Colin is on the phone.
Yeah, how you doing?
Very good, Cosmic. What messages do you have for us today?
Yeah, vote for the Golden Griffin.
Wait a second. Back up, vote for what?
The Golden Griffin.
The Golden Griffin.
Seal Farm, Hartford. It's a pub.
The Golden Griffin, yeah. Yeah, and how often do you go there?
Not very often now.
Have you been there this morning, Cosmic?
No, I don't have a drink this early.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you were suggesting that, Jules. You know, you might have gone in for a soft drink or something.
Yeah, I was thinking orange juice, lemonade.
Yeah, they might do nice breakfast or something.
Yeah.
You know, pubs these days, they kind of...
No, the food is rubbish there.
Oh. Cosmic, you're not helping. Talking about nicknames this morning. You've got one, Pete.
Silent West is my nickname.
Silent West?
Yeah. Well, I don't talk a lot when I play poker.
Right, so did you give yourself that nickname?
A group of my friends and myself, yeah.
Now, this is poker, so you play poker, do you?
I used to, yeah.
Right, so did you win any money?
No, just play for fun or points.
Silent West. What about the West bit?
That's my surname.
Okay. And so you wouldn't give anything away? There were no tells with you?
Not verbally, no.
Oh, I see. There were always twitches and stuff, were there?
Yeah. Depends how observant you are, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always... You know, there used to be that painting, the dogs playing poker. Do you ever see that?
No, yeah, I've seen images of it.
Yeah. I always thought, what a stupid painting. There's no way dogs can play poker, because if they get a good hand, they'll wag their tail.
Bob's Breakfast.
Looking for your encounters with wildlife stories. What's yours, William?
We've had a bird in the kitchen.
Have you?
Before now.
It's scary, isn't it?
Scary.
Yeah. Was it a big bird?
It was.
Oh, what was it?
Yeah, it was a big blackbird.
Oh, right.
Just opened the French windows, and luckily it went out. But what we couldn't understand was that was in the morning, and that must have been in the house all night.
Oh.
We didn't hear it, or, you know, I don't quite know what happened there. But wife just came down in the morning and found it.
Oh.
And that was that.
Goodness me. I remember my parents had a bird in the chimney, and they talked about how it was there, and they got a guy in, and a guy came in and he fixed the chimney and he checked out the gas fire, and there was actually, they found a leak in the pipe or something. But typical my mother, she went, that bird had a message. That bird had a message that we needed to get the fire checked or we could have all been blown up. That bird came with a message.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Funny how people read things into things,
isn't it?
All right. Hey, thanks, mate.
Okay, mate.
Cheers. We're looking for your encounter with wildlife story. Graham, Mack and Jules and Chris Hubbard has your news.
Imagine the scene. You're living in a lovely little country cottage in Hertfordshire. You've got all these little quirky items to your cottage as well. And this pot which just props open the kitchen door. These people have found that this thing that's been propping over their door for several years now was actually an intricate Chinese wooden pot. They've had it valued at £30,000.
Goodness me.
It's been on the floor of their cottage.
The doorstop.
Yeah.
And it finally answers that question. What did people hold doors open with before fire extinguishers were invented? When you've had an encounter with wildlife, what's your story, Ben?
I have crickets and locusts in the house.
How have you ended up with crickets and locusts in your house?
Well, I used to keep bearded dragons, and I ordered 3 boxes of giant crickets and locusts.
Live?
And as live food. And I remember I was away at the time with a girlfriend, and they got delivered while I was away, and there was a hole in the box because they're basically, I'd got some sand as well. When I came home, the boxes were empty.
No!
And for the next 2 weeks, the house was full of black locusts and crickets. I was living with girls at the time, and they were just so mad because they even found them, I remember, in their underwear drawer.
Oh! You infested their house! Oh, that is rank.
Have you witnessed a random act of kindness? Jim?
One of our senior managers, on his way to Starbucks every morning, buys 2 coffees, and then when he gets into the office, the first person he sees gets one of his coffees.
Oh, that's so nice.
He does that every day?
Every day he's in our office in London, he does it. He goes to Starbucks. The first time it happened to me, he came in and said, "Do you like coffee?" And it was like, "Is this one of these questions like puppies?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, I do." He says, "Oh, I have a coffee." And I'm like, No, you have it." He says, No. He says, "I always get 2. I was like, "Oh, thanks very much." And then I got it, and it was mocha, and it was disgusting. I'd rather just get a cup of tea from the machine.
Bob's Breakfast.
And it's that very special time of year, a time of year when we're reminded that Jesus died for our sins. So remember, kids, if you don't sin, Jesus died for nothing.
Bob's Breakfast.
Chris Hubbard has your news.
Continuing to cause controversy, David Cameron and an article he wrote for the Church Times last week in which he wrote of his own faith, the Christian faith, and his desire to infuse politics with Christian ideals and values. Now, today, more than 50 writers, scientists, broadcasters, academics have all signed an open letter, which has been published in The Telegraph, concerned at the negative consequences of the Prime Minister's comments in a country where they say most people do not describe themselves as Christian. They say it could cause alienation and division.
So he's trying to say that politics should have more Christian values?
That's right, yeah.
You know what he's doing, don't you? He's backpedaling. He's trying to appease Christians after the gay marriage thing came through.
You reckon?
Christians are against gay marriage. God hates gays. True Christians are not happy about the gay marriage thing. So he's doing this now to kind of backpedal and appease those Christians. Well, Christians. I mean, the Bible. Have you ever read the bit in the Bible about gays?
I wish people wouldn't ask me this because I'm not a big Bible reader, to be perfectly honest.
It's really scary because, you get this impression that God loves everybody. God hates gays. It's in the Bible. This is what it says. It says, this is Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. This is what it is. Christians want to kill gays. They don't just dislike, they want to kill them. So, this is why David Cameron's backpedaling now, because the Christians who don't like the fact that he brought in the gay marriage thing, that's what this is all about. It's scary.
Blimey.
He wants politics to be infused with have you seen, the Bible wants to stone people to death. There's some scary, really evil stuff in the Bible. He wants to be careful about what he says about how we should be bringing in more Christian values. Some of those Christian values, not very nice.
Bob's Breakfast.
And another chance for you to win this morning with Hartford House.
This is good. Dinner, bed and breakfast at the brand new Hartford House. They've been refurbed. They've got a brand new menu, new chef, new cocktails, new DJ. It's going to be a whole new night out. What a nice price. Dinner, bed, breakfast, chill out, relax. So we're going to be playing Menu or Venue for the last time this morning.
Let's meet our latest contestant. Her name is Shelley. She's from Welwyn Garden City. She's a driving instructor and she likes to show young men how to use their gear stick.
Oh dear.
Now, Shelley, menu or venue? Here's how it works. We give you a name and you tell us, is it on the menu or is it someone performing at the venue? So it's either food or drink, or it's a DJ or a band. You have to tell us which one, okay?
Oh gosh. So it's
menu.
Yeah.
Or
there's a clue in the name.
Venue.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
You're right.
Got it?
Yep.
Good. Okay. Right. The name I'm going to give you today sounds a little bit like a form of contraception. Femi Fem.
Sunny Sun.
Whatever you just said, please don't say it again. Jules, the actual pronunciation, the correct pronunciation of this item that is either on the menu or at the venue, please.
Femi Fem. F-E-M-I, and the new word, F-E-M.
Okay, now is that someone appearing at the venue or an item on the menu?
Appearing.
So you're going to say venue?
Yes.
Or menu? Which one are you going to say?
Venue.
You're right!
Well done! Goodness me, do we still have a licence?
I much prefer what you first said, but Femi Fem is actually a Mobo Award winner, producer, DJ, and he is going to be performing there on a regular basis. Oh, brilliant. I wish he had the first name that you said. You've won yourself dinner, bed and breakfast at Hartford House, Shelley.
Fantastic.
Well done, it's Bob FM. I'm not sure I should even have Chris on the rec because I've just made such a big mistake with Chris.
I can't believe that you've been doing this for, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Completely, maybe even longer.
I can. I just went along with this.
Okay, let me just explain. Chris doesn't drink milk. He has this special hippie milk that isn't milk.
Lacto-free milk.
Lacto-free milk. It still is milk.
What does it give you if you drink real milk?
Well, bottom problems, I
Squid.
think, is the easiest way of putting it.
I come in the morning and I just, I'm on autopilot and I make 2 coffees and a tea. And
it's a very nice gesture, though.
Thank you, so that when Jules and Chris show up, they've got a nice hot beverage.
Waiting on our desk, which is very nice.
Nice thing to do, I thought. But I forgot, like, weeks ago, that Chris has this hippie milk, and I didn't, and I'd forgot. You've been having genuine milk for the last few weeks. How have you been?
My wife's been complaining to me.
I mean, you should know. You're the one that has to share the gents loo with him, surely.
Actually, now you come to mention it. No, I'm serious.
And it's all your fault.
Now you come to mention it. It's that, because you go in, you pull the cord and the light and the fan comes on. I often, if I've been in after Chris, I don't pull the cord again, I leave that fan on.
Yeah.
Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
It's an interesting one in the news this morning about Cornish people. They're going to be granted minority status under European rules for the protection of national minorities. It means they'll gain the same status as other Celtic communities like the Scots, the Welsh, the Irish as well.
Yeah, but what does that mean? To be granted as a minority, what does that actually mean for them?
A very good question, because the exact details aren't yet clear. They're saying that what this actually means on a day-to-day basis will become clear over the coming months and weeks, but it just means that things like the Cornish language will be given extra protection, so sort of extra oomph to the Cornish.
No, it's not going to become like Wales, is it, where everything's written in 2 languages and every sign is double the size?
In March this year, Nick Clegg announced the government would be investing £120,000. This was to go into the Cornish Language Partnership to promote and develop the language.
Nobody speaks it. It's pointless.
If they've got a cultural identity, though, you don't want it to disappear.
Well, no. But, I mean, putting money into a dead language does seem a bit pointless. I mean, what I heard this morning when I heard this story is saying that you're not allowed to take the mick out of people from Cornwall anymore, which that's just no fun at all, is it?
Pretty much. I mean,
but do people do that? The Irish obviously had a real problem with people telling racist jokes about Irish people. There's an impression of Scots as well. So I don't think I've heard these two Cornishmen, an Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman, and a Cornishman. I don't think I've heard that joke. No. I think this is, as far as that's concerned, I think they're trying to fix a problem that doesn't really exist.
Yeah. So this is what they were saying. They were saying it'll be an end to jokes about the Cornish past. I've never heard any jokes about the Cornish past.
Right,
I'd like to hear one. If you know any jokes about Cornish past.
Actually, you're probably breaking some law now. Let's just for the sake of it, just for the point of demonstration, as scientific research, does anyone know a joke that's offensive towards Cornish people? Morning, Danny.
What do you get if you put 22 Cornish women in a room?
Don't know.
A full set of teeth.
Oh!
Bob's Breakfast.
Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
Plastic surgeons this morning saying they're concerned about the number of young people who are wanting a bit of a nip and a tuck, maybe a boost here and there, and wanting these cosmetic procedures. There's a story in the news also this morning about a woman who's had plastic surgery to get the perfect selfie as well. She's
had longer arms.
We want to hear more Cornish jokes.
Tony's not helping. He's just been in touch.
What did he say?
He says Cornish is a dead language. Or as they say in Cornwall, Cornish is a dead language.
I don't get it.
Chris Hubbard has your news.
The world's dirtiest man. Ludwig Dolezal. He sleeps buried in a pile of hot ash. And he doesn't want to have a wash. He's burnt his duvet and his mattress to keep a fire going at his home, which is an abandoned farmhouse in the Czech Republic. Government officials are refusing to pay him benefits as they fear he's only going to burn his handouts.
The world's dirtiest man. If you don't count Max Clifford.
Bob's Breakfast.